Hello and welcome to Neverwinter. Some new beta weekend going on with Great Weapon Fighter class added to the game, so I'm gonna take a look at that in this video. But I'll start this video out by clarifying an error I might have made in the last beta weekend. Because I was only able to play during the last day of the said beta weekend. I was in a rush and I didn't really experiment and go through every bit of options during that time. I just wanted to get the class videos out and get a feel for all the classes playable at then. So I was talking about keybinds being unable to save them between characters. But apparently, if you go into the interface tab of the options, there is save UI, and when you mouse over it, it even says that it saves UI layout, keybinds and chat settings. Why this thing only shows up when you are in the interface tab of this options menu, I have no effing clue. Why cannot it show up on the same tab as the keybinds themselves? I do not know. I have no clue. Hopefully they do something about that. Because I don't know if this existed in the previous beta weekend right now, because I can't remember if I saw this and simply thought that it saves only the UI and not keybinds, because it says nothing about the keybinds obviously on the button itself. Only when you mouse over it. Anyways, as I said, I am taking a look at the Great Weapon Fighter with another race I have not played before, the human. So let's get on to that, but I don't want to show this tutorial again. I'm gonna show the following two dungeons, so I'm gonna just move on to those. Alright, so this should be a bit more noticeable thing, like more familiar bit of the videos if you watched my previous videos. Come on. Get around here. Oh, one guy didn't die to my charge up slash. So, what is the Great Weapon Fighter all about? Talk about that while I make my way through this dungeon thingamajig. Oops. Only hit one, so you have this spammable, just like Guardian Fighter, your basic spammable attack is a frontal cone. So you can do away with trash bags pretty easily, as you can see. So as you can just swing at multiple monsters and such. This should be the very... I don't have kits, obviously, don't have the money to buy them and so forth. And then you have this charge up attack which slows your attack speed down and deals more damage the more of this bar is filled up once you release it. Which is also a frontal cone. Like if I charge it up here, outside of these guys' line of sight, once they aggro me up, I'll wait for them to all to get over here and then can do just that one strike and another basic attack and it's kind of over. Also, just like Guardian Fighter, the fighters share the dungeoneering skill, so you open the same boxes as a Guardian Fighter. Also, have a charge ability. Oops, they're behind me. Anyways. But what the Great Weapon Fighter lacks as compared to the other classes, you don't have the Guardian Fighters, obviously you don't have shield block, which the Guardian Fighter has. And you also don't have the instant dodge as, for example, Control Wizard has. With the short teleportation thingamajig. Instead you have a sprint, which I'll show in a sec once I finish dealing with this guy. Okay, come on here. Yeah, you swing away. Ow. You should probably learn to use the sprint to get out of the way of things, but... Or just use this charge to get out of the way. That works as well. What's that? Symbol. Okay. I'll loot a symbol, which I cannot do anything about with And a heal potion. So the sprint is, it eats your stamina bar just like for the other classes. Using a dodge or block eats your stamina bar, but it's not an actual like dodge ability. You still like you cannot just double tap to a direction and move into that direction. You have to hold the sprint key and a movement key at the same time, because it just accelerates your movement speed. So that's one of the differences there. And so you so basically you don't have a defensive maneuver ability like straight up. You can just press the like double tap to a side or something to get out of the way of an attack, or use a block. This at least this massive swings feel like there is some sort of strength behind the blows, like if you watch, except that random spin annoys me a little. As someone who has experience in martial arts, the like random spins don't usually add much to actual ability to combat things. I'm just gonna stand in the area for a short bat and then give you a bit harsher swing. Whoops. That is gonna be on. Okay. Come on, Meister Hexer. And you go down. Thank you. Okay. And as usual, these are nothing for me. These are for the Arcana, and the other side is for a Cleric. At this point, as I said, do not have the money to buy kits, which would allow me to open those. Or at least give me a percentage chance to open them. And interact with the door. Breadcrumb trail, still as useful as before, if that is your thing. Personally, I just like the fact that you can turn it off. Especially in dungeons like this, where like there is one staircase. Do I go down it or do I go back? Is that a choice I can make? I'll just wait for these guys to almost kill each other off, and then I'll... Come on. Deal with the rest of them. That is a thievery one. Yes. Go and collect the money. Why am I doing that? I don't know, because this is not a character I plan to play further than just these two dungeons for video purposes. Hopefully I can get some Foundry footage out as well this weekend, as I said. Depends entirely on how much I get time to play and how much I can do with the said playing time. Come on. Skeletons! Oh right, there was this soldier skeleton thing. And an archer. Probably have gotten the archer down. This is where the sprint doesn't necessarily stop his attacks from hitting, as you can see. So we're not having a automatic dodge-like ability to get out of the attacks of him. It can be a little painful here occasionally, so it's gonna be it's gonna force the Great Weapon Fighter players to be really careful in fights, because you have to consider your positioning a little more, which I'm obviously not really. I'm not really trying to play this class to the best of the ability here. It's like, this is the first look at this class, this is the first time I'm playing this class, because it's also the first time it is available for us to play. So I'm just making mental notes and talking in case I decide to play this class come release. Knowing myself, it's kind of unlikely. So, because healer is typically my thing, but it's possible I might play a tank, I don't know. Halfling Guardian Fighter is looking really tempting, to be honest. Because there is no scaling down of weapon lengths. Like, that means that weapons are the same size no matter your race. Being that you can, well, a dwarf or a halfling with a greatsword will have the same size greatsword as the human's greatsword. So when you are a halfling, you will be standing in such a way that your greatsword is sticking down into the ground below you, behind you. Come out of there. Thank you. If you understand what I mean. Like, halfling is short enough that at this size greatsword is gonna stick to the ground instead of like being like this. Like, I mean, this thing even just barely sticks to the ground, as you can see. It's just barely inside the floor. I would always prefer if games made weapons like this carried on the shoulder or something, like instead of having this issue where it's like in the floor. At least it doesn't have the issue like many other games where the where it's straight down the back, so that when you walk it cuts through your ankles. So at least that's been fixed in this iteration of a game. Let's hope they keep that up. But we shall see what comes out of that. Now I have killed 50 undead again. Achievement system. Achievements, something I have never been much into myself, but there is obviously people who like that sort of thing. So I still have a nature kit I picked up earlier. Take all. Yay. Okay, later on Guardian Fighters, not Guardian, Great Weapon Fighters also get a, it's on a pretty long cooldown, 15-second cooldown, but they also get an ability which slightly returns health based on actually damage dealt by you. So the higher your damage is, the more health you get back for using that ability. And it should also, it's level 15 ability if memory serves. Not looking at the trees at the moment, I'm just running through the dungeon. But it's one of those things which will alleviate a little the problem of like not having a dodge. Instead you can stand a bit in the combat and take a few hits and then just regenerate some of the part of the health. So yay, cutscene! Okay. There was Mr. Guardian of the Nine. Come on. There's no loot here, resource, other than just you. Skeletons. I don't. Ah! That's what I mean. You have to, like, as you can see, I can't exactly. I have to like use my movement keys and such to really dodge out of this. But then obviously I cannot do that fully. And oh, I might show this thing as well, which is one of the daily abilities. Increases movement speed, allows doing all sorts of spinny action. Very good for clearing trash. But obviously not so hot for dealing with bosses, and I'm fairly sure my keyboard spam is coming through the microphone, but not much I can do about that at this time. And as you can see, even with like trying to activate sprint, I can't always get out of all of those abilities. Get a couple attacks in and then barely get out of the range of the ability with the sprint, and now I don't have stamina. Whoa, dodge that. The charge ability gives another form of escape since you can go through targets with it. But even that is not entirely reliable. Not always, at least. Like, if I go through here, I still get hit by that ability even though I'm outside of the ability cone and behind him. Bye bye. So yeah, that is my loot from this place and such, and that is a quick look for this vault, and I'm gonna go through the short little vault bed still. Did I? Ah, right, I had to do something here before I can get the actual loot from the chest, you know, for the quest. And still really like that there is a second door. The question just always is, why did I not come in from this door? Anyways, I'll show the short little follow-up dungeon to this as well, so I'm gonna cut the running away to there from this video. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are in the next tunnel bed, so let's clear with that and start with these bandits and hit level 5 in the process and all sorts of other stuff. Whoa, I'm making my way past you, mister. Open the door. No, I'm not interested in knowing what's new and what not, blah blah blah. That stuff. Can find out, you know. I have a new ability, which is a for scream. What? Wrong game. Roar. Yeah, for scream. Oh well. Where was the archer? Okay, behind the box. Okay. It's fine. Okay, so roar does not interrupt his attack, even though it pushes him back. So that's... I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, it's just something to keep in mind. Or at least it did not interrupt this guy's attack. And yes, I'm gaining identifying scrolls and all sorts of other stuff, blah blah blah. And then there is a hexer. Here, have this power swing. I wanna kinda know if I can interrupt Hexer's spell with the roar. Come on, do a spell. Apparently not. So it's not an interrupt, it's just full mode damage and a knockback. That's fine, that's fine. Let's see, doesn't actually... Yeah, it's just... Well, it says interrupt. Maybe I'm just timing it entirely wrong. Would have to play around with the ability a bit, obviously, to get a real good, like, measure of, like, what it can do. Okay. Now you... I want to deal with this sniper first, because he's annoying. I have this interrupt. Oh, right. Short channel time for to start that spinning. That's fine. Yeah, and final loot from here. Now, final verdicts and thoughts on the Great Weapon Fighter before I end this video recording and stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed this bit. So Great Weapon Fighter seems kind of interesting. The main big question I always have, because usually in most games a melee fighter with plate armor or not necessarily plate armor but chain armor, some sort of a heavy armor with a two-handed weapon tends to be a really popular class for a reason. It's kind of iconic to games like the and worlds like this, so people really enjoy the class. I can't blame anyone for enjoying stuff like this, so it's all good. And then obviously because it turns out to be so popular and all that stuff. And yeah, this is a secret you can do if you have the kit, or oh, not even found a thievery kit from there, or if you have dungeoneering skill, and not much of a secret since it's glowing, but keep an eye out for things like that. Anyways, as I was about to say, these sort of classes usually end up being pretty popular, so I want to know, like, the main question I have here is, will the Great Weapon Fighter be able to take the role of a Guardian Fighter and actually tank some encounters, like majority of the dungeons to come? Or will you actually be relegated to a full mode DPS, like damage dealer category, and the Guardian Fighter is the ultimate actual, like, let's not say ultimate because they probably are the better tank, but is it the only tank we are going to see for the time being? Or can Guardian Fighter be replaced with Great Weapon Fighter in your general instance runs? That is a question I have, and we shall see how it will turn out. Still, enjoyable class. Just takes a bit more thought process since you don't have an actual dodge, so have to, like, be a little more careful with your positioning. But it seemed enjoyable enough and so forth. Thank you very much for watching this video.